Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. What is Zuhd and how does one achieve it?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. For right now, for today, for these times, for these conditions, for this jama'at, Zuhd, what our Shaykh has taught us is to live life in a simple way. Not to be extreme. Not to look for extreme luxury. Not to look for luxury. Simple. Not to push yourself to get from this dunya, to satisfy the ego of this dunya. That is zuhd for us. We are not living in 7th century Arabia or 10th century Arabia or the Middle East. We're not living 200 years ago. We're not living 100 years ago. If you're going to apply the zuhd that they are living 100 years ago, 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 1,400 years ago, you can never do it. Never. It is impossible. And you're putting yourselves under such heavy burden that you cannot carry and it might destroy you. Like what we said earlier, there are certain medicines that you need to take for you to get better. But is it up to you to decide? No, the doctor has to prescribe. Maybe you think, I need to take antibiotics. It's the only way to cure me, to kill the bacteria. But maybe that antibiotics, while it kills the bacteria, the virus, it also destroys half of your health. And if you start doing it without the doctors consulting the doctor, you're going to get rid of that disease, but you're not going to be no good for nothing. So now, there are people who are trying very hard, especially people who come into Islam. They try because in their minds, oh, I want to live like a Sahabi, which is good. I've seen all these movies like The Message. It's good. I want to dress like them, be like them, like this and that. We're saying it's good to think that way, but you know what? You're going to suffer from a burnout later. You're pushing, then later you cannot carry it anymore. You're going to burn out and you're going to go to another extreme. That always happens. So in the beginning, we say, calm down. What is important, again, is not outside, is not the form. You can have the form of zuhd. Okay? Wear very patchwork clothes, Wear khirqa. Okay? And eat from one bowl, But those kinds of things, you can try to do it. I'm not discouraging people from doing it too. I'm not saying don't do it. I say try to do it. But if you cannot carry it, I see a lot of people, I know people, that they have been zuhd like that. Not for 1 day or 2 days, decades. After those decades, you see them running for luxury and being busy with things that please their ego. Eating, drinking, clothes. Being very, very busy with that. And when we talk about, this is nice, but we like to sleep on the floor. Say, oh, I've done all of that already. Been there, done that. I've done that. I don't have to do it anymore. And I go crazy. I'm like, what? To live life simple is not a fashion. And if you really understand and value the meaning of it, you're going to stick it through the rest of your life. So it's not the outside, it is the inside. The Ottoman sultans, they were living zuhd. People are saying, oh, no, what are you talking about? They live in the most magnificent palaces. They have everything. Yes, they had everything. But they were sleeping on the floor. Yes, they had everything, but they were abstaining from so many things. Yes, they had everything, but that was the outside for them to show. On a day-to-day living, they live very simple lives. Like what Shaykh Effendi said in a sohbat. You have a bed. You have a luxury bed. Try sleeping on the floor. Something that your ego likes from this dunya, and you say to your ego, no need for you to get 100% of that. Just to put a little bit of control in these days, it is a big miracle, and that is zuhud. And that will stay with you. We see people, what's the use of people trying to be so strict with themselves, to have zuhud, but when the food is coming, their eyes are looking. I've seen scholars, they're giving speeches, talking, oh, Ashik Rasulullah, and people are serving food and they're looking. They're looking, talking, and they're looking. I swear to you. Now, they don't even have the attitude that that is bad manners now. What about zuhud? You may have it in your hands, but you're not going to hold it tightly like this. It's going to slip, and you say, "Eh Allah, let it go." And these days, it is zuhud enough to say, whatever I own, it doesn't belong to me. To really believe that. It doesn't belong. Not just to say, now you start giving. You're going to start giving. You're going to start sharing. Something you really like, and when it's lost or it's given, your heart is not going to be tight. You're going to say, Alhamdulillah. It's very good. Because I like it too much, and Allah take it from my hand, Alhamdulillah. That time, you have a zuhud inside. Not just the outside. Outside is very easy to fake. Inshallah. We cannot be at the same level of the Sahabe Kiram. I believe it was Hazrat Salman al-Farsi that before he passed, he was crying and crying and crying and crying, and they asked him why. And he said, because I've left so many possessions. And they looked around, and he had nothing. One bowl, one shirt, one bed. But he was crying because he said, how I'm going to explain to my Lord on the judgment day of what I own. We can never be in that level yet. We can never be in that level. What can we be? To say, whatever I own, Ya Rabbi. Make the intention, whatever I own, I don't own it, Ya Rabbi. If it's good, take it away from me. If it's bad, don't let me to have it, but do not test me, Ya Rabbi. I'm weak. You understand? So now you can have a balance. You can have things, but you're not going to be attached to them. The whole point is not to be attached. So if it's in front of you, the best things, you're going to say, Alhamdulillah. In front of you, there's nothing, or the worst things, you're going to say, Alhamdulillah. When things are given to you that is precious, that is valuable, you're going to say it comes from Allah. When it's taken away from you, your heart is not going to shake. Like I said, zuhud, physical zuhud from the outside is very easy for people to fake. But the ones who is a real fakir, he understands that he owns nothing. He can have everything, but still he says, Ya Rabbi, this belongs to you. I'm just holding it as a trust. It doesn't belong to me. This world doesn't belong to me. My children, they don't belong to me. My wife, they don't belong to me. My husband doesn't belong to me. Nothing belongs to me. I belong to you. May Allah make us strong May Allah not test us. May Allah give us more sincerity, inshallah. That time you can have the best of things in your life, but it's never going to enter into your heart. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This much is enough for you, inshallah. If we have other questions, we will answer, inshallah, tomorrow at after the Jummah prayers. May Allah keep us all in